Oh yeah? Well, Scott, the gauntlet is about to be thrown down. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show about video games that occasionally makes an episode about movies. Video game movies. Can you blame me? Netflix wanting to do a Zelda series, leaked emails about a Mario movie, and well, we've talked enough about Scott and the gang. Making movies based on gaming's biggest franchises is the hottest trend right now, but for as recent as it feels, it's really a time-honored tradition, resulting in some of the cinema's finest examples of...
You're alive. Too bad you will die.
I mean, some of the greatest Hollywood...
Things are progressing according to plan.
I cannot wait any longer!
No, I guess not that one, but there are...
I will not harm you. I only wish to kill vampires.
Okay, yes, these really do suck. Okay, so video game movies aren't known for being the gems of the film world, but they are still worth talking about. These movies represent an industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars, despite the fact that almost every video game movie released has been critically panned. And for some of them, it's not that hard to believe. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale. It's like Game of Thrones, if Game of Thrones were awful, had fewer boobs, and wasn't, amazing. But MatPat, I can hear you say, the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie was amazing! No, it wasn't. Yoshi as a raptor, Bowser with cornrows, Toad as whatever this thing is, put down that Pabst. You're only appreciating that movie in an ironic hipster, oh, it's so bad it's good kind of way. Well, guess what? It's not. It's not good in any way, and I don't care how bad it is, it's still not good. But Mario ain't alone. The best Rotten Tomatoes rating ever awarded to any video game movie released in theaters was a lousy 44%. And that was for, wait for it, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, aka Alec Baldwin and the Quest for the Uncanny Valley. Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes might not be the be-all end-all in grading systems, but it is pretty telling that the best movie in the gaming genre is still rocking a solid F, a failing grade by 15 points. But all this leads to the question of why? Why are these movies so bad? Resident Evil, Need for Speed, Mortal Kombat, Prince of Persia, Doom, Street Fighter, all of these are iconic games, so why are their movie adaptations so mind-blowingly awful? How could all of these movies get greenlit year after year, flop after flop, and still no one, not one single person has ever been able to make a truly good one? Well, the answer might surprise you. No one's really been trying. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, meet Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll? Mr. Boll is the infamous German film director who built his career by making movies almost exclusively based off of video games, some of which have been objectively called the worst movies ever made. I'm looking at you, House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark. Don't think that you can hide back there in the early 2000s. I see you hiding behind that Creed poster. Almost all of his movies have been cataclysmic box office flops, and when film critics rightfully panned them, our buddy Uwe made internet headlines by challenging and defeating 5 of them in the boxing ring. Yep, film industry professionals, ladies and gentlemen. You might say that he's a regular raging bull. Wait, they did a documentary called that? Well played, documentary people. Well played. Tip of the cap. So, what's this guy's deal? Is he a misunderstood genius? A modern-day Ed Wood? Not exactly. In fact, the truth is actually much more depressing. The explanation is tax law. You see, all of Uwe Boll's movies are financed by Boll KG, his own personal and unimaginatively named production company. And up until 2008, as a German citizen, he could take advantage of some rather unusual legal loopholes. As the owner of a German production company, money, Boll was able to take advantage of a German tax law, which stated that any investment made into filmmaking was 100% tax deductible. The law was enacted in the 1970s when American Hollywood was taking over the global film scene, and European countries were having trouble competing. A number of EU nations, including Germany and the UK, set up these huge incentives for movies not produced by big US production companies, ostensibly to support their own local, small-time filmmakers. Realistically, though, this policy just opened the door for people to cheat the system. So with this law in place, our buddy was able to hide 100% of huge production budgets from taxes simply by buying up the rights to video game titles and making fast, low-budget movies as a way to move cash around tax-free. Which begs the question, if you're gonna go to all the trouble of making movies, why don't you make good ones, so at least they're successful? Well, German tax code dictated that taxes only had to be paid on any returns the movie made back. So if the movie was a flop, that was actually better. Making a low-grade movie just meant that there would be lower returns, meaning that there were even fewer taxes to pay at the end of the process. So Boll KG became a tax shelter for German investors that used video game properties as a tool, seemingly without any real passion or interest in the source material or, for that matter, making a good movie. It's like The Producers, but for video game movies. It's springtime for Hitman! That's a great joke, by the way. If you didn't get it, go watch The Producers so that you understand it. Actually, if you did get it, still, go watch The Producers. It's such a good movie. It's also a really good musical, but now we're losing focus. Let's move on. So, if this was a system that could be exploited so easily, why didn't other people do it? The answer is, they did. 2001's Lara Croft Tomb Raider was funded in a similar way, and even after making almost $300 million, it's still sitting at just 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. 19! There are even more examples from other genres. By the late 90s and early 2000s, this was such a common practice that Hollywood was intentionally shipping its films overseas to take advantage of these insane tax breaks. Paramount Studios alone is estimated to have made $70 to $90 million in a single year from classifying films as German in name only. And it's thought that a lot of these profits for these studios, both German and US, weren't even ever really disclosed to the governments. It was literally free money for making garbage. Thankfully, this process was largely shut down in the mid-2000s when German law finally was changed, but not before the world got the most epic side boob shot in video game movie history. So, I guess something good came out of the hundreds of millions of dollars laid waste by illegal tax sheltering. Okay, but that doesn't explain recent duds like Max Payne and Prince of Persia, video game movies that weren't part of an international tax evasion scheme and yet still totally suck. Hard to believe, I know. So there has to be something else wrong with trying to make a video game into a movie. Well, what if we actually look at this from the artistic perspective? Is there some categorical aspect of video games themselves that would make it hard to make them into movies? Well, according to many video game script writers, yeah. Besides companies like BioWare, Valve, and Telltale Games, there aren't very many developers out there who have writers on board as permanent members of their staff, because a lot of the time in the world of video games, mechanics and technology come first. While that's not necessarily a bad thing for the medium, the writers themselves end up feeling like third wheels on their own teams. Rhianna Pratchett, daughter of English fantasy author Terry Pratchett, wrote Overlord, Mirror's Edge, and the reboot of the Tomb Raider series, and in a 2010 interview with CNN explained that, quote, "For many studios, story remains a hard sell. From a short-term perspective, it can be hard to see how a better plot can translate into an improved ranking on the retail charts," end quote. What she means is that when the game dev team is working with the studios to gather ideas for a movie adaptation, they're thinking about translating the gameplay elements, the cool graphics, the high-tech special effects. They're not thinking about crafting a tight storyline around all those elements to make them more compelling and ultimately lead to a better movie. I mean, let's face it, game developers are highly skilled at making games interactive and exciting in the moment, but they're not novelists. As a result, when you're making the story secondary to other aspects of a movie, you just don't end up with a very good movie. Novels and comic books are story-driven already, so adapting them to film is only natural. But when your main story beats are princess is captured, plumber knocks turtle into lava, hero gets cake, yeah, it's gonna leave you grasping at a few straws. You end up with stuff like Mortal Kombat Annihilation with 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. 3. Like, I can use my fingers for that number. As Corey May, head writer for the Assassin's Creed series, summed it up, it often comes down to money, as movie studios frequently choose to make films based on the franchises that sell the best, not those with the most cinematic potential. There's that word again. Money. Money, the root of all evil, and apparently bad video game movies. But wait, you interject again. My, you're awfully talky this episode. What about the games that are story heavy? For all intents and purposes, the Prince of Persia, Silent Hill, and Max Payne movies should have been totally awesome, right? Wrong. Take it from Wheeler Winston Dixon. No, that's not an expensive whiskey. That's a professor of film studies at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, who said, quote, "There's a very simple reason that nearly all video game movies fail. They're not interactive. With video games, the player is really the star of the movie, directing the actors, deciding what plotline to follow, and whom to shoot down to get to the next level. When this aspect of the game is missing, viewers no longer feel like they're part of the action." End quote. With adaptations of novels, cartoons, and comic books, movies are able to add to the fan experience by allowing you to see a world that you were only previously able to imagine or see via still imagery. With video game adaptations, you actually lose an aspect of the experience, the element of choice. For example, Silent Hill is a much beloved horror game known for its unique psychologically disturbing brand of scares, but when you remove the interactive element, it's reduced to just another story about cults and demons. BioShock Infinite is a beautiful look at the dystopian society of Columbia, but if you remove the ability to explore it at your own pace, much of the sense of wonder is removed, as many of the little details you'd only uncover with meticulous searching would fall by the wayside. You lose information rather than gain it. More than anything else, making a video game into a movie kills the personal connection you form with the game. Playing Resident Evil alone in the dark is terrifying. You are the character on screen getting attacked by zombie dogs, and your actions dictate whether you live or become a Jill sandwich. 300 people watching the movie at the same time, all getting the exact same experience? It's not the same. Maybe we shouldn't be asking why video game movies are bad, but rather, is what we already have actually better? Instead of adapting Prince of Persia to a movie where we can all sit and have the same experience, should we be challenging movies to break the fourth wall, become more like a video game where we can interact with them, explore them, and form our own unique perception of them, have our own adventure? We're already a culture that's become more and more obsessed over the last 10 years with concepts like 3D movies, 4DX movies, and other cinema experiences that bring us closer to the action to make us feel like we're a part of the movie. Well, there's no closer than you can get right now than a video game. If we put it in those terms, what we get to is not about how to make video games into better movies, but rather how to make good movies into awesome video games. In fact, if you want to know the future of movies and video games, click here for another all-new theory video by yours truly on my new Theorist channel, Film Theory. Seriously, you heard that right. We have a new channel. I've already got a bunch of episodes up there all waiting for you to watch on everything from how to win yourself an Oscar to Game of Thrones and Doctor Who to Harry Potter and Star Wars. And we're just getting started. We'll be covering anime, cartoons, the Marvel Universe, Disney, all your favorite over-analysis and over-research on a whole new genre of stuff. And I'm in good company, because guess who else is over there? Did You Know Gaming? Well, actually, Did You Know Movies? But it makes sense, right? So click here or the link in the description to check it out and finish this episode. I'm really excited about it, and I think you guys will be too. And please, I don't ask for stuff like this often, but I've been spending months on this, so if you like what you see, subscribe, and more importantly, share with your film buff friends. The team and I have been working non-stop over the last couple months to make sure that this launch is a success. So your views, your retention time, your subscribes, shares, tweets, whatever, they're all a huge help. Honestly, I just want to spread the word about what it means to be a theorist, and you guys can help make this thing into a huge success. So hop on over there, subscribe, start watching videos, share with your friends. I'll meet you over there, but in the meantime, I'll leave you with this. It's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.